This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Miri Kennett of Sargatanis, Justin Stormstrider of Marlborough, Rez Decibels of Sargatanis. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. And by Buscarin's Druthers. Do the happy songs of the Starlight Festival bring you down? Did you spend all of your life's fortunes away at the Gold Saucer? Do happy faces on child orphans make you unreasonably angry? Well then, you need to come down to Buscarin's Druthers and ignore your relatives with a tall, hearty ale. We ain't friends and we ain't family, but you'll always have a spot at our bar. Come drink your misery away today.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break. With your hosts, Aniero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kallo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Eskalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Mika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, a special Fan Fest edition of Limit Break Radio. We're here to talk about one thing and one thing only. The Fan Fest that just happened out in Japan. This is exciting news. We, of course, had some obvious announcements that were coming, some surprising announcements, and some that have just been left open to wild speculation, which is the best kind of speculation. Thanks for joining us here today on Limit Break Radio. Appreciate you joining us. So I guess some of you have noticed that the on-screen chat is not working. I guess I am told that this is a problem, not just exclusive to our channel, that this is a problem actually with many channels on Twitch. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that it is most likely a problem with Night Dev.
Or we're trying to do a show on Christmas and the world is saying, dude, no.
Yeah, well, that's true.
This is bullshit.
If you ever wondered about the dedication level of the hosts here at Limit Break Radio,
this job really sucks.
you should probably have some idea now, after that drop,
I'm
specifically.
sorry, Eskalia, that you don't want to spend time with our Limit Break Radio family, but some of us appreciate our listeners.
That's right. We do appreciate our listeners. Thank you guys for joining us and for hanging out on Christmas. Now, whether you're joining us as a family, because maybe you might be the coolest family ever.
Dysfunctional?
Or maybe you're joining us to escape your family. That's fair.
You're probably not alone.
You're definitely not alone. I'm doing the show to escape my family.
That's nice. I'm sure that's what you told him, too, when you left.
It's funny because it's true.
Oh,
I hope they're not
good.
listening. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Limit Break Radio. Yes, of course, we're talking about the 2016 Japan Fan Festival, and there sure is some exciting things to talk about. There's a very energized section of this community that I'm seeing. Now, it really is unfortunate that our on-screen chat is broken this week, because like our chat room has been lit just the entire, since the stream went up. Everyone's just been going at each other.
For all the days for our chat room to be just like on fire. Christmas Day.
I know, Christmas Day. But thank you for so many of you for joining us here. But there is so much to talk about. And you know what? The excitement surrounding specifically the Red Mage announcement drop is what I guarantee you that's some of what's driving people here. But here's the thing. So, this show is a call-in show. We do allow you to call in. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you want to call in. Kooky is not around today. Oh.
Maybe our parents died by driving off a cliff last year and we have nothing better to do than watch you. You know what? That's actually probably not a bad thing to do.
Was that Aaron Edge?
I think that was, yeah.
Did he just send us in a Christmas donation?
Yes.
1 year after wishing death on his family?
That's correct.
Man, we've come so far.
I know. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us here today. Oh, good. I forgot to mute my phone.
Wow!
All sorts of shit today. Look at that.
Merry Christmas.
I know, right? So anyway, no, this isn't an actual full episode of Limit Break Radio where we would get into the news and everything. But the thing is that we do want to take your calls. We are here to take your calls. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Limitbreakradio.com/Discord is how you can reach us. However, here's the thing. Normally, we have Kooky, who's kind of acting as the go-between, or we would have Juxta, who would be on the phones. We have neither of them today. So we have, for the first time, Eskalia is manning the phone deck, or womaning the phone deck. Which is it today?
Take your pick.
Okay.
Whatever makes you smile.
Is womaning the phone deck, phone decks today, and is ready to take your calls. So do you know how this process works?
They say they want to call, and then I send you a message saying they want to call, and I call them.
That's exactly it, and you just call them and leave them down. And when I'm ready to talk to them, I'll make them audible.
I like it. Why does Juxta complain that this is hard?
I have no idea.
That's very weird.
I mean, a small brain.
Look at how easily we worked this out. This took 2 seconds.
We got it.
On the job training. I was actually worried there for a second because I was like, oh shit, we didn't work this out before we went on air. And then I was like, oh damn, okay, well this is the easiest thing ever.
Yeah,
that's
fortunately,
right.
this isn't hard at all.
Yeah.
I do have one question. Which account do I let know that wants to call?
Whichever one you want to let call first.
Well, no. Do I message you at which account?
The LBR Aniero account. Yeah, cool. There you go. And yeah, make sure you're signed on not to Final Encountercast, but to okay.
Remembering that Juxta screwed that up, I decided to check.
Yeah, that may be important to know. Anyway, thank you for joining us here at Limit Break Radio. We're ready to take your calls, and we're ready to battle it out. We want to hear who you guys think is going to be the next job, because we did get confirmation during the festivities that there is only 2 jobs coming in Stormblood. And the t-shirt hint that we got at the next job,
not nearly so obvious as they usually are.
It was a Spider-Man t-shirt.
It was.
And this has led to some very rampant and frankly bizarre speculation.
Clearly, since Sam Raimi directed all 3 of the first Spider-Man movies, Samurai, which sounds like Sam Raimi, must be the new job.
Okay, Nika.
Oh, I was doing my happy impression, actually.
From Reddit, too, by the way.
Oh, my God. It's
way too clever for Nika to come up with.
Yeah.
There's no way that's what it means.
Well, I was like, there's no way she knows who Sam Raimi is. There's no way she knows. That was the dead giveaway. Is I was like, no, she doesn't know who directed Spider-Man. Get the fuck out of here.
I just refuse to believe that Yoshi P went from, well, Scarlet Witch seems like Red Mage to Spider-Man was directed by Sam Raimi, which kind of sounds like Samurai.
Right, yeah. So this is going to be an interesting couple of months until the European Fan Fest. I really am excited about this, but I really want to hear your guys' speculation.
Merry Christmas, you glorious peoples. Hella tired from streaming till 2 a.m. last night. Anyway, Samurai confirmed.
Samurai not confirmed
at all.
Taco Tuesday, how can you say that? It's not at all confirmed. Anyway,
I was thinking Blue
Merry
Mage
Christmas to you, too.
I was thinking Blue Mage until what you said out before the show, and now I'm on board with you completely.
Okay, so
I think you've got it.
So, all right, we're going to start with some of the key information that started off the keynote. We have an official tentative release date of June 20th, 2017. Pre-orders go on sale January 24th. Coming
very quickly here.
Coming up very quickly.
That's the month.
Yep. Collector's Edition will contain the game, the Amano box art, an art book, card decal. Card decal, that's pretty cool.
Card decal. Well, 15 was so popular. Card decal.
Fine, sure. A cloth map, Xenos figurine, as well as in-game items such as Sildrum mount, as well as a Bart's minion.
And also the chicken knife.
That's, right. You know what? I disagree with the way that minion is named. That should be the Butts minion.
The Butts minion.
The Butts minion.
I think I would get it for the Butts minion.
That's
alone.
the Butts minion for sure. Anyway, so yeah, grab the collector's edition if you want to spend an outrageous amount of money.
Spider-Man is a photographer by day. New doll photography job. Prompto class. Confirmed.
Oh my god.
Damn it, Mr. Jack! Stole that from me!
I like it.
Thief 75, please check it.
Yeah,
Damn.
Not a thief 75.
Wow, that was pouty.
Oh my god.
Hoser 99.
So it's been confirmed that Nobuo Uematsu will be working on the main theme, and it is about 60% done. I'm going to guess that since Nobuo and our good friend, our tight compadre Susan Calloway they've worked so well together in the past, that we will most likely hear the return of Susan Calloway for Stormblood.
It's so nice that we can say our good friend Susan Calloway and not have to be lying.
We are not lying. Yeah,
usually we have to lie when we say stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's barely even an exaggeration.
No, we're like besties.
It's kind of weirdly true. I don't know.
Picture that she posted with the pianist from FanFest, and also with Mr. Primal himself.
So yes, I did see that. Yeah.
Stars.
Yeah, I did see that. I actually saw that when she posted it to her private Facebook, but that's okay.
So did I.
Me too. Oh my god, we're such nerds. Listen to the name dropping that we're doing right now. Right this very instant. The smarm is just oozing off. You can, if you touch your earbuds or your speakers, whatever you're listening to this on, you can hear the smarm from all of our voices. You can touch it. It's coming through the speakers
palpable
right now.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very good either.
Oh, put it in your mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, the theme is about 60% done. That's exciting. I really want to hear the theme.
Oh yeah.
Which that actually kind of follows the way that Heavensward was kind of done, because Susan's version, like Susan's Heavensward track, it came out way later in the promotional cycle. Because at first it was that like
it was just Dragon Song, or not? Was it called Dragon Song, or it was called Heavensward originally? Wasn't it?
I'm not sure. But it was that sort of like operatic theme that sort of kicked it off.
Right. It's what plays at the beginning of the video.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So we have finally Red Mage confirmed.
Juxta not here to celebrate.
I know it's.
Did you see his Vine though?
No, wait, what?
A Vine?
Not his Vine, whatever. Just his little video that he posted on our Facebook. He's like out working, so it's like almost, it's completely dark out. He's in his car, and all he's doing is yelling, "Red Mage hype, new main!" Like just freaking out.
No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
Local madman outside pizzeria won't shut up.
As if there was any doubt. Like, why was he that freaking out that much? Like, there was.
Oh, there was some part of his mind who was like, I've been hurt before.
You know what it is?
This is Square-Enix.
Even though he was wrong about it being a healer, I think that he's never wanted to be more wrong in his life, and he's just that happy about it.
That's fair. You know what? That's fair. So let's get some information here about Red Mage. It will be a magic DPS that switches between melee and ranged.
And I have to say, as much as we talked about, like Red Mage has always been a hybrid, and we're like, there's no room for a hybrid in this game. For some reason, none of our minds went to the idea of a hybrid ranged like melee.
Right. They found a way to make it a hybrid class without violating
a hybrid class.
Right, they haven't violated the tenets of the three. The great
To be fair, they just took the 3 types of DPS and mashed them all into one. Sure. If that kind of, I guess that qualifies. Fuck it, why not?
It's both physical and magic melee, and just magic ranged.
It's true, but that seems like a really cheap way to get around that technicality.
I don't know if it's cheap. I think it's like, what else were you gonna do without completely altering your game?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it uses the rapier style sword and a crystal medium, which I don't know, kind of reminded me a little bit of the Astrologian weapon.
Kinda.
Like the way that it was held and it was sort of floating there.
It kind of like floats around behind them. I saw.
Yeah. Well, on it above one of the hands, right? So you've got the one hand that's sort of like in this parry, this parry style, and then the other one is sort of held out with this crystal medium kind of behind them.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that it turns into the staff though and goes back and forth. I'm sorry, but that is so cool.
That is
so
like
cool.
I'm so jealous about that weapon now.
That is pretty fucking cool. I have to admit. Because staff was a big part of the way that sort of like Red Mage functioned in 11.
Red Mage cross-class abilities from BLM and DRG.
I don't.
Oh God. Yeah, you gotta love up your Dragoon to get blood for your Red Mage.
Well, they are, dude, they're adjusting a lot of that.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about cross classes because we don't know what they're planning to do to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, with all of the system revamps and stuff that are supposed to be coming with 4.0 as well. It makes it almost impossible to try to even guess that.
Right, and yeah, until because we know that it's just going to be tank abilities, DPS abilities, and healing abilities. So yeah, we have no idea which ones are going to be brought over.
Let's see. It uses a mixture of black and white magic, though it uses its own spells.
Right, so it's not literally just getting the spells from White Mage and Black Mage. It's going to have its own stuff.
Good.
Yeah, it should. I picture it's white magic being buffs.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, it does seem to me like a bit of a concession in the way that Red Mage has always traditionally functioned, which has been literally to combine different tiers of magic from pre-existing jobs, which is why it was called a Red Mage.
Right. To be fair, it would be really, really cool if they had some decent healing on themselves.
Have to contribute to the discussion through donations because Kallo equals salty kappa.
Oh.
At least give us more than $1.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We only really see like about 60 cents of that. Anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, it does seem to me like this has some of the fundamental problems that I would see Blue Mage having, where, you have a job and it's named Blue Mage, but it's not really like it at its core is a FF14 job.
Yeah.
And not really like the past Final Fantasy jobs that you really want it to be. And I mean, I kind of learned that with Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a tank and it functions like an FF14 tank, in the same way that you've got a bar of management, whether it's TP or whether it's MP, kind of depends on which class you're playing. And you know what I mean? Like, there's different management styles for different parts of it, and different subcomponents of the jobs are different and unique. But at the core of it, you're really just doing the same thing that any warrior or paladin.
But that's true of pretty much every job. I mean, you look at Dragoon. Obviously, Dragoon is different than what it was in 11, but it's different than what it was in any other game in the series.
That's true.
It doesn't really play like a Dragoon.
Monk and Ninja, besides the Ninjutsu stuff, at least to me, feels like they play very similar as well.
Yeah, I mean, and it'll be really interesting to see how this ends up feeling like it plays, considering that it's a combination of literally all 3 TPS styles. So let's see, where did we leave off here? Lots of positional movement to jump between meleeing with the rapier and casting at range. That seems kind of cool.
I think I kind of foresee like you have to like jump back and maybe like end fire yourself and then jump back in and attack with the sword that way, or Or then we saw them using Chain Spell also to jump back, go to staff mode, and unleash like a burst of spells.
Yeah.
Anybody else get a Noctis from FF15 feel when they like warped in to attack?
I mean, a little bit, but I don't know. It just really seemed like a gap close to me. It just seemed like your average gap close.
What little they showed of it looked super fun.
Yeah.
Like, it actually looked like a ton of fun to play. And if your prediction about that Spider-Man shirt is not right,
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. You keep hyping that up. You keep hyping that up, and I swear to God, the stream's gonna be disappointed when we get there.
No. The one thing that Juxta was really concerned about with all of this like gap closing and jumping back is animation lock, similar to what Dragoon has to go through.
Oh, I hope they've learned their lesson from that, please. Even on Dragoon, the only thing that still has that animation lock is just regular jump.
Yeah, I would think that that's like a mistake that you only need to make once.
Please.
Yeah, because I mean, we have on Ninja, we have Dream Within a Dream, which granted you jump up in the air and do all these different things, but you're able to like move around as that's going off too. So I would also hope that this isn't that's a mistake they're done making.
Yeah, well,
please.
We can only hope. Something that Juxta will be extremely happy about, the Pimp Hat returns.
And like the whole of the Red Mage garb looks amazing. It looks super cool.
It is very, I mean, that is very much classically a Red Mage.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a Red Mage. And if it looks like a Red Mage and quacks like a Red Mage...
and then we've also, there's no associated class. The job will start at level 50 and supposedly will not be unlocked in a Stormblood area. So what do you guys think the lore around Red Mage is going to be if it's not going to start in a Stormblood area? Because the prevailing theory around where Red Mage was going to originate was going to be in Alamigo, because we had seen Ilberd previously exhibit some kind of ability that looked like a Red Mage and fire ability. So
it could still get its roots from Alamigo. I mean, think about how they introduced the Gold Saucer, right? It was in Ul'dah. You meet someone who's been to the Gold Saucer, all this kind of stuff. So what if the person who teaches you Red Mage has came from Alamigo out for some reason? So it could still technically originate there, even though we're not getting the job in Alamigo proper.
That could be. If it isn't coming from Alamigo, the only thing I can think of is like maybe because there's the Lamia near Limsa Laminsa and we're getting that new beast race that's kind of like them. Maybe it comes from there.
But then where are they putting Blue Mage?
Yeah, good question. Where indeed? Probably in Final Fantasy XVII.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm not. It leads me to have a lot of questions about the lore, and I really hope, at least for Red Mages, that the lore is a little bit more connected and satisfying than, for example, the Dark Knight lore was, because I felt that was like really...
Yeah.
It only really kind of served that story, and you never really felt like there was a presence of Dark Knights anywhere else.
Blue Cloudy says, it's really easy. We have refugees. They can do the whole Nin thing over again, because we are about to start like a full-on sort of war with the Guardians in Alamigo.
You don't think that that's already been a pretty well-treaded narrative path?
No, it has. Doesn't mean that it isn't a possibility, but I agree. I'd like to see something a little bit more original than that.
I don't know.
I might like to see, like, maybe if it's something from Ul'dah where it's a new form of magic that's being experimented with. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that has existed for a long time.
Well, because, that's the thing is that, I mean, I think it would have to, because you have such a lore-rooted history in the black and white conflict of magic.
Right.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah, that I'm really curious how it actually bridges the gap and what that... I mean... There's got to be some kind of lore behind the crystal medium, and that's actually kind of a revolutionary idea when you stop and think about it, and how many wars and how many calamities have been fought over black magic versus white magic.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that makes the most sense, because if Red Mage was a thing already in Eorzea, as long as we've used magic, we should have heard something about it already. Right?
Yeah, this seems kind of new. Like, this seems like it might be a new new thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with.
And I'm curious where its origins are going to be, especially if it's not in any of the new areas. It's got to be somewhere that we already know.
I would think Ul'dah, right? That makes the most sense.
Are they pushing the boundaries of man? Like, where is some out of the box thinking happening in terms of magic right now in Eorzea? That may be a clue. That may be some kind of idea where this would
Gengar's
originate.
Crucible.
Oh, you.
Oh, you knew that was coming. Kallo, you're getting a finger waved at you right now.
I'm getting. Yeah.
I could feel it.
He even knows the look that I gave him.
I do.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that there's a lot of really cool, interesting story possibilities that exist here.
Yeah,
and
I also think that the whole Red Mage reveal now, I think that it's made up. Because remember, we were talking back during our fan fest that we kind of felt like the whole Red Mage shirt thing, like, yeah, come on, we expected it, and that shirt's pretty straightforward. I feel like what we've got now kind of makes up for how lackluster that tease was.
How much of a gimme it was.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've got this second job. So, the second job is, as of yet, unconfirmed. Yoshi stated that there will only be 2 jobs this time. And he wore a Spider-Man t-shirt, which...
What?
Nobody really...
Yeah, which means...
understands what the hell that's supposed to mean.
It means one of 2 things. One, it means Yoshi just wanted to be very mysterious this time. Or 2, he's like, how is no one getting this?
Yeah.
Kind of, weren't people really mind-boggled by the 007 t-shirt as well?
You know, it did cause a lot of speculation, but there was also the gun that was brought out on stage. And the thing is that everyone, what was it? Musketeer was a job or a class that had existed in the DATS for like ever, all the way going back to 1.0.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. There was even a spot on the map in 1.0 for their guild.
Yep.
So, that was the and the animations existed for gun use as well. So everyone was kind of like, it's gotta be guns. And when they did the 007 shirt, everyone went, okay, it's definitely connected to guns now. And that was sort of where that theory had gone. But Spider-Man is really... That is out of left field, and that is so many things that it could possibly be.
Yeah, and like if you go through like FF5's job list, you're like, well, that could be half of them.
It really could. It could. I've heard speculation in so many different areas,
and like in varying degrees of mental gymnastics to get there.
Oh, totally. The one that you had mentioned earlier, the Sam Raimi, it was the director of the Spider-Man movies, and so Sam Raimi equals samurai. That's such. I mean, that is mental gymnastics to a degree that I don't know that I can even take seriously. Yeah. And I sincerely wish we did have Nika and Juxta here to talk about this. And I'm interested to get their take next week when they join us again. But I mean, honestly, like I don't know how you can draw samurai out of a Spider-Man t-shirt. I just don't know.
This is the most excited I've been, because now that we've actually got a t-shirt to it, I feel more hopeful and concrete in my beliefs that samurai will not be introduced. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, no, I think that this sort of puts to rest, like, samurai is done. I don't think it's happening.
People have been sending around that picture of like the Spider-Man in samurai armor.
Oh my god!
You mean that fan wank art? Like, what the fuck?
What could that be?
Come on. Give me a break.
Yeah.
The only way I see samurai coming at this point is if Yoshi has been flat out lying about 3 jobs to really blow people's minds.
I mean, that I could see that. I could see him kind of given a curveball like that, which would be cool. I would be totally in for that. But there's no way. There's no way it's samurai. No way. This kills samurai to me. Like the Spider-Man T-shirt, in my mind, Samurai is not happening for Stormblood.
Yeah.
So what could it be?
Well, I mean, like I say, he gets his powers from an animal. Maybe it's Blue Mage.
Even that's kind of a stretch. But I mean, I could see
it would also be very poetic, introducing like Red Mage and
Blue Mage at the same time. Yeah.
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 And that they did kind of hint towards that in some of the, like holiday events in the past.
The Rising.
Yeah. Exactly. Kallo, what's your prediction for the Spider-Man T-shirt?
I would probably have to go with Dancer, because the one thing that I think encompasses Spider-Man overall is his agility. You know, how acrobatic he is. You know, aerialist type movements, and the thing that he attacks with, I mean, besides like punching and kicking and stuff, is his webs, which I guess in a stretchy way you can kind of attribute to using like flourishes in the Stormblood opening trailer that we saw. It kind of looks like that lady in red is like using her sleeves and stuff like that. I also like the Blue Mage connection. He's been bitten by a spider, gets his powers from a beast, but that's also, I think, very, very thin.
I think everything's really, really thin. That's the problem.
Yeah. I see. I mean, I like CC decibels. Like if it was something called like Acrobat, like I could see that
I
kind
can
of
see
connection.
that. Yeah.
I've seen people say, "Oh, well, it's definitely Dancer because Spider-Man moves like a dancer," and it's like, I don't.
He did that dancing in Spider-Man 3.
Actually, moves like a spider does, guys.
Yeah. My headcanon is that it might be Beastmaster, because Spider-Man is, you have that connection with animals in the name.
Yeah, okay.
It seems like that would be a big hint, and then you would get a job that's just as disappointing as Summoner.
Oh. See, and that's the problem, because if it is Beastmaster, it's going to be my new main. Like right now, Red Mage is going to be my new main, but if it is Beastmaster, I'll play that, and I'm going to be mad about it. It's going to suck.
That's so cute.
You're changing off of Dragoon?
Oh, absolutely. I'm either switching to Red Mage, or if this is Beastmaster, I'll switch to that.
Giving up Dragoon so easily.
I'd stuck with it for since
2 expansions?
For 2 expansions. I think that's pretty good.
Fair.
You know what's going to happen? He's going to go off Dragoon, and they're going to add the pet.
They're going to go, yeah, Beastmaster works so well, we can give Dragoon a pet.
And then I just put a gun in my mouth. Okay, great.
Man, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It would have been too obvious if you wore a Beast Boy T-shirt. I guess you would try and scale that back a little into Spider-Man, maybe.
Like the Spider-Man T-shirt reveal is one that really threw me through a loop. I'm very confused by that.
Because all the T-shirts are usually kind of self-explanatory.
Yes.
Like gimmies.
Yeah,
right?
Batman. Pretty obvious.
Batman was very obvious.
Scarlet Witch, super
we had a little bit of
obvious.
trouble with 007, but I feel like Yoshi felt like we should have got it pretty easily.
Hey, he had he had even name dropped the one machinist ever.
Mustadio.
Yeah, in an interview before that. Yeah, we should have gotten that. And then really, like, Astrologian was the one that was just.
Did he wear a shirt for that?
I don't think he did. Because didn't he reveal
he
revealed those two at the same time, didn't he? Yeah.
So here's my only thing. I don't really care what the other job is, but it can't be a DPS because Red Mage is. If we get 2 new DPS, there was a census that they put out that already shows that like 60% of people are playing DPS classes.
The queues would be fucked.
Dude, they cannot put 2 new. I can't believe they're putting 1 new DPS in.
That's the thing. Okay, so all right, if it's Dancer, you're going to tell me that
the healer? What? No, probably not.
Maybe I could see that. I could see maybe like a TP based healer. I could actually kind of see that.
Oh god,
possible.
And that's possible. I mean, like that's basically what Dancer was in FF11, except it wasn't that potent. You bump up the potency.
I want Beastmaster, and I want it to be a tank. Because that'd be a cool new mechanic. Like you get pets to throw in the way of the enemy. That's actually kind of cool and something they haven't done yet.
And then your job would be a little bit more ranged. Like you would what? Just place the thing. The dodging.
And you'd have to control the movement of your pet.
Man. There's like, I don't know how it would work is the thing. I'm not saying now the people who are jumping on me in the chat for predicting Beastmaster, that I'm only saying that because of the shirt.
Right.
That's the only reason I'm saying that. I have no idea how the job would function. I think that would be bizarre. You know what I mean? Like if they made Beastmaster a tank, that would be fucking weird. But I don't know how it would work. I don't know how it would function. I'm only going off the context clue of the T-shirt.
I just can't deal with 2 more DPS. Like, your Qs are going to be so messed up.
It can't be 2 more DPS. It just can't be.
We already got 2 new DPS in the last go-around between Ninja and Machinist, and Qs were awful.
Yeah, but guys, if you think about it, what was the hardest classes to balance of the new ones? It was the tanks and the healers. And if they want to go into an expansion not having to worry about class balances so much, and they're only coming out with 2 of them, I don't think that they're going to come out with another tank that's then going to put us down a healer or vice versa. If we're only getting 2 classes, I think it's going to be 2 DPS.
No, it can't, dude. It can't.
Because
you can't fuck Qs like that.
A chunk of your tanks and healers will switch to those DPS classes, so you're going to have even less tanks and healers than you normally would have.
I know. I'm not saying it's smart, but
no, Square Enix isn't that dumb. That's the thing.
How many times have we said that before, Aniero?
Square Enix is not that dumb. They can't. There's no way that you could get away with putting 2 DPS into this game and then not fuck the queues for your game for like the first 6 weeks. There's no way. And you know that's what reviewers would jump on too. And if they're talking about making concessions like jump potions to shut up reviewers, like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You really think they would pull the trigger on something like that? That's just dumb. That's boldly dumb.
They made some dumb decisions in the past, though.
I don't know, man, but they make safe decisions when it comes to FF14.
Okay, that's fair, that they make dumb, safe decisions.
No, most of the decisions that they're...
I mean, when their decisions are dumb, they're also safe.
Yes, exactly. So, man, I don't know. I'd love to hear from some of the audience. If you'd like to give... the show a call. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord. That's how you get a hold of us. We'd like to hear from you. What is your speculation on the Spider-Man t-shirt reveal? This is just fascinating for me because you're right. All of them have been fairly obvious in the past. And it's just been like, especially even with the 007 one, a lot of people... had like varying degrees of like, it's like agent, but machinist was in there, right? Like it was in the fucking running.
Right.
I don't even know what to properly put in the running for this.
This is fun. That's what this is.
No, this is
fun to not know.
It's fun, but it's also aggravating as shit.
Can we cast our official guesses between the 3 of us?
Oh, I'm sticking with Beastmaster. I think it's a weird choice. It's a long shot, but that's usually what I go for. So
I'm gonna play it safe with Dancer.
I'm saying Beastmaster tank.
Don't go with your heart. Don't go with what you want.
This is SC.
Go with what you think Square Enix is gonna do.
All right, the same way I handle the WWE. What's boring and stupid? I'm going. Yeah, it's got to be Dancer then.
Damn it! Don't pick mine.
All right, that's boring and stupid. I'm sorry.
So Samurai is done.
I don't think it's Samurai.
As far as I'm concerned, it's dead.
Sorry, Sams. I think your hopes for seeing a Samurai in Stormblood is just it's gone.
I still do think we're gonna see a Samurai in Stormblood, but it's not gonna be this. I think it's gonna be one of these things where he announces like the new job, and all the crowd's like, "Oh no, we want Samurai," and he's like, "Okay, here's another video."
No,
I think we're gonna get that.
No,
yeah, I think we're getting that.
I don't. No way. No.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what. Remember, we didn't think there was going to be a third job until like at the last moment. He's like, "And third job."
No way. I don't think so. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. Yeah, I mean, And what could be connected to the lore of like that side of the continent either? Like,
Ooh, Xenos has a great katana. That means samurai.
I really don't think that does. I don't think.
I agree. I think it's stupid.
I mean, any of the Garlean generals, they've all had varying degrees of weapons.
I wish Nika was here so I could tell her second on the number of gerbs. Also, Potato Juxta RDM, can I have it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Is Juxta going to go back to Lalafell so he can be throwback Juxta?
You know what? I think that what I'm going to do for you guys is maybe we'll do a little like fundraiser, and if you can raise enough money to convince me, I will sneak onto Juxta's computer when he's at work, and I will change him to a Lalafell.
That would be awesome.
You have to wait until he has all the AF, so he'll look the part.
Yes.
Oh my gosh! All right, let's go to our phone lines. We've got Zero, Ash, and Zari hanging on the line. What's up, Zero? How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty well.
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio, man.
Not a problem. So, as much as I do not like this theory, I do think possibly we might see a second DPS class for Stormfront.
Why? Why do you think that there's going to be 2 DPS classes? That makes no sense.
And I agree, it makes no sense. However, we have 3 different healers. We have 3 different tanks. We have 2 strength-based melees. We have now coming in a 3rd caster. The one that is not dependent at this time is ranged. We do not have a ranged one. So we have only 2.
All right. Okay. I see your point there. But what would the Spider-Man illusion be to if you were thinking ranged?
If we were to really stretch the range concept, I know Spider-Man can shoot the projectiles. For all we know, could be some weird bastardization of a grenader of some point. As I said, I don't like the theory. I honestly don't like the theory of it being another DPS class because, as you guys have stated,
one of the jobs that was floated around, like around the time that we were going into the European Fan Fest in 2014, was Chemist. Chemist was one that was floated around a bunch, and that would be a ranged healer that would also use guns.
Peter Parker was a scientist.
Guys, I might have just got the connection.
What?
All right, so question, really quick. The CEO of Square-Enix came out on stage and threatened Yoshi with a gun, right?
That's what I understand.
What was that? Was that in the same keynote thing or whatever that they announced or that they revealed the Spider-Man shirt?
I don't know. I honestly.
Zero Hasio was saying that Spider-Man is called a web slinger. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch. Gunslinger.
I don't.
But if you already have machinist, why gunslinger?
Wait. Gadgets.
Wait, hang on. Why go Spider-Man if you were going to introduce gunslinger and not Punisher, anything Western, anything like, no idea, man. Dude, anything like, there's so many other ways to convey the idea of gunslinger. That's way too much of a stretch. No fucking way. I call bullshit. I call bullshit.
Maybe they're just putting Spider-Man into the game. Maybe you're just Spider-Man.
You're just Spider-Man. Okay.
I mean, look, Chemist is I think that's a stretch as well. There's just nothing that fits with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a really unique hero. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of his origin story, in terms of, like, the person he was outside of being Spider-Man, and what kind of hero he was. Orphan?
Wow.
But in terms of the hero he was, I mean, he was, a lot younger than a lot of the other superheroes that were portrayed at the time. I mean, like, there's a lot of really, truly unique things about Spider-Man. None of that says anything to me about FF14.
Well, Juxtadamus left his prediction on the outline.
No, don't even read that. That's so stupid.
It is, but it's Juxtadamus.
It is Juxtadamus. Right. Yeah, I mean,
he believes it's going to be mime, and he believes that because Spider-Man mimics the Avengers.
Only in the new Marvel Cinematic Universe canon and the Ultimates. All right, Spider-Man has long been an actual member of the Avengers for a long time. That's the stupidest prediction.
It really is. That is, I think, very
and
fucking
if mime
dumb.
is added, I will shave my head.
Please be Mimic.
No, I hope so.
Please be Mimic.
It's not. It can't be mime.
That was so dumb.
I mean, I'd be hyped if it was mime.
What?
Because I think that would be a cool. I think that would be a cool class to see.
What role
it's
would
so,
that fill?
I have no idea. It's so out of the fucking box and like bizarre and weird. That's the thing is I would just like to see that execution. You know what I mean? It would be more like I ain't even mad. I just want to see this done.
That's a moment of, all right, entertain me, Yoshi.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Like, bring it. Yeah,
I'm in.
I'm
Okay.
down. I'm in. Yeah, I really don't know what to make of the Spider-Man thing. Again, he's a very unique superhero, period. Like a unique superhero, and none of his abilities translate into something that you would think of a fantasy class.
Not in an MMO, or really in any MMO.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he swings around between buildings. You're not going to see that element of it.
We're overlooking something so simple because when you look back on all the other ones, Scarlet Witch, Red Mage, 007, Gadgets, Batman, Dark Knight, like as deep as some people are going into this, it's got to be something simple that when it is revealed, we're all just going to be like, oh.
Well, that's where Aniero thought Beastmaster.
That's
Animal
why
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man, Beast-Man. Yes, that's sort of like why I broke it down to that sort of simplistic level.
It seems like there could have been so many like better choices, like
I
Beast
agree.
Boy, for example.
I agree, bro. But maybe that's too obvious.
Scarlet Witch wasn't obvious enough.
Scarlet Witch was obvious. Scarlet Witch was stupid obvious. But I mean, like, yeah, dude, I'm struggling with this one.
Now, why I kind of like it, like with Scarlet Witch, we all went into this thinking we're probably getting Red Mage, so he probably didn't feel like I need to hide this real well. This, I think, is going to be a job that we were not expecting to see.
Hang on, what other superhero would you have used to portray Red Mage? Scarlet Witch. Like, it's almost really implicit in the fucking...
I was like, the Crimson Chin.
Doctor Strange.
Crimson Witch works in that context, and Scarlet Witch, yeah, and it fits so goddamn well. Dark Knight as well. Batman and Dark Knight. There's that whole run of comics called The Dark Knight. That made sense. Even looking back on it, the 007 shirt made a whole lot of sense, considering
Red Lantern.
I just don't know what to make of this.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. We're going to have some fun speculation up until EU FanFest.
I'd like him to come out in Germany and be like, guess what, guys? Spider-Man, that was just... No, that was nothing. I just wanted to fuck with you.
Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. I forgot my shirt last time. That's just what I had with me.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Zero. We appreciate it. If you'd like to call Limit Break Radio, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Merry Christmas, Zero. Thank you for hanging out on Christmas. We appreciate it. If you want to get your thoughts in, again, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. That's how you can reach us. It's so much fun doing the speculating part of it, and we'll keep taking calls on this all throughout the show. But there were definitely some more reveals in here that some people were surprised about, others not so much. The swimming announcement. Swimming will be a new way to traverse and explore the map. It's like.
Aniero, I need to know your opinion on this because when this was announced, the first thing I thought was all the different games that have underwater combat and how annoying it is. Now, they've said that there won't be any combat in the water, which then leads me to just think, why
do it? Yeah, why even bother?
I looked at it as a traversal thing. Like, they kind of talked about they want to get away from having... Anytime you have water's edge, that is an invisible wall that ends your ability to progress. They want to kind of get away from that.
Sure, I understand that. But yeah, like it's just something that I question. Why do it if, it's not going to serve a combat purpose? Like, exploration is cool, but like exploration needs to have a point to it too.
Yeah. The only thing that I've heard anybody say that makes any sense is, well, what if they eventually introduce Blitzball But to that I say, then just come out with it when like Blitzball does or whatever. Like I feel like you don't need to add it as an exploration mechanic before, whatever, Blitzball comes out or something. But even that's very weak and thin.
Yeah, I this does really kind of open up the possibility for Blitzball, though.
Roleplay.
It does.
Let's be honest. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so tempted to drop your call right now. Fuck you.
Come on. No, oh my god, I just got it. We just got the Yuna and the Tidus cosplay.
No,
we can go and recreate that scene in Makalani Woods.
Stop. Oh my god. I fucking hate you.
Oh, it's like Juxta's in the room with us.
It really is. Now all I just see is fat neck beards making out, but just dressed as Tidus and Luna. Yuna.
No, Sal, you're gonna see like 5 or 6 couples in the water, like cosplaying.
Of course. Really?
At
Was
the
that ever a
same time,
question?
no less.
Was that ever a question? All right, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Satori Komeji. What's going on, Satori? Thanks for calling.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas to you. You guys working hard.
We never stop. We never stop.
Can't stop.
So, can't stop, won't stop. So what are your predictions for the Spider-Man t-shirt?
Well, Blue Mage.
Why?
Get bit by a spider, learn spider abilities.
Okay,
Get hit by a monster, learn monster abilities.
I can kind of understand that. That's like the least stretchy of the theories that I've heard so far.
But since I'm wrong about everything nowadays, it's going to be samurai.
It can't be fucking. If it's fucking samurai, I don't.
If it's samurai, Yoshi has to get on the stage and explain the connection to us.
And if he gets up there and he goes, "I was fucking with you," that's a good enough explanation for me. Just so we're clear.
You would rather him say, "No, I was just messing with you," than try to like string it together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like tactical misdirection, motherfuckers.
If he does that and then ends up being samurai, I might just have to like go to where Nika lives and just like blow up her car or something, just so she can't enjoy it.
Not with her in it, but just
no, of course not. We still need a girl on the show, so Callie only.
By the way, did any of you guys watch the stream?
I was working.
Retail
holiday times.
Woo! You know what also doesn't get a holiday? Radio doesn't get a holiday. So no, I was also similarly working.
So if you watch the stream, you see a bunch of cosplayers running around, and you know what I saw?
What'd you see?
I saw some motherfucker dressed up as Hildebrand in a spring dress outfit, and I was like, "You motherfucker!
Get out of here!
That shit is old."
Come on, we're talking to the OG right now. The OG Hildebrand in the dress. Come on, that's some
shit's old.
That's whack and played out. Come on now. He was. Were they on stage?
I think they applied for the contest, but they didn't make it to the top 20.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, because their costume's 2 years old.
Then there you go. Yeah. Well, then I guess survival of the fittest. The problem weeded itself out. So. Anyway, thanks for the call, Satori, and thanks for the prediction. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, man.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah, if you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We'd be interested to hear what your predictions regarding the Spider-Man t-shirt are. I mean, and I got to tell you, the people who go back and listen to the show on YouTube, I know that they can't see the chat on screen like you normally would, but it has been lit since we put this broadcast up, with people just debating and speculating on what the second job for Stormblood is going to be.
Some aren't even debating; they're just like fighting with each other. No, it's this, guaranteed.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, that's spirited debate, if not browbeating, and that's fine. We encourage that here at Limit Break Radio. But
have we been known to browbeat every now and then?
Maybe.
Did you browbeat me a little bit on the air last week? I think you did.
You might be the dumbest person that's ever talked on this program.
Whoa!
Just saying.
Whoa! Come on, give Nika credit where credit is due.
Oh, Christmas burn.
I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, if you'd like to give us a call, again, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We're taking your calls on Red Mage. And we'll take your reaction calls to Red Mage. How hype are you for Red Mage that it's finally here? I mean, we knew there was a foregone conclusion. We knew that we were getting Red Mage, but are you happy? Are you satisfied with the Red Mage that we got? I mean, it's got a cool glowy sword. It's got a weird floaty rock, and it's got the
Sword
pimp.
and rock. That's it. That's the weapon from now on. That's what I'm calling it.
It's got the very third important element of the pimp hat. So you've got the Trinity: the sword, the rock, and the pimp hat.
I just mean when we talk about their weapon, it's sword and rock.
So anyway, if you'd like to give us a call, then you know how to do that. I've been saying it all day. So let's continue to talk about swimming. I just thought that this was such an unnecessary addition. I mean, we've got flying. We know that flying is going to be a part of the new zones. Like it just. And the thing about flying is that, like, there was only so much exploration that it really ended up providing.
Well, let me ask you this. We talked a while back about other areas we may visit in addition to Alamigo, and we talked about having some island warfare in that island chain that's right there. Swimming could come into play there.
Well, okay, here's
I don't
my
know
thing,
how.
though. When you try to use exploration and as the reason for bringing this in, how you don't want to have an invisible wall, guess what? When you go into the water, there's still eventually going to be an invisible wall. So you're just it's just down to the way that you present it. Whether you could have made where the water is like a different canyon or more land with the invisible water wall at the end, it's the exact same thing. You're just in water instead of on land. And so my thinking is when you add something like this, going forward, how does that fit into the rest of the game? Now, if eventually they're going to add something that really uses water effectively, fine. But I feel like in that case, Swing probably should have came out with that because it would have been more of a meaningful addition than it is right now.
No, I definitely agree with that sentiment, and I think that it all depends on what you do, what you end up doing when you get down there. If all you can do is flag an NPC or touch a point or do some gathering, then it really does feel very pointless. But I mean, there might be some cool exploration stuff that they could do, like underwater caves. That might be cool. I don't know, man. Like there's potential, but I just don't know how much. And whenever swimming has been added into other games, like whenever swimming has been added into other MMOs, I just question, I question what it added. Like, I question what it brought.
Yeah.
So long as there isn't a drowning breath mechanic, I might be a bit more okay with it. Because to me, that's what's always made it annoying.
You can't. The only time you can drown, and they have an animation for it, is if you, kind of like when you have aggro and you jump off a cliff, you can die rather than going down to 1 HP. If you jump into the water while you have aggro, you can drown, but if you don't have aggro, you can't.
What? That doesn't make much sense.
No, neither is being able to jump off a cliff. But.
Yeah, it's sort of the same thing. It's so you can't just abjectly escape aggro by going into the water.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess, although that makes more sense in reality. That's what you would do. Bunch of bees chasing you?
Jump in the water.
Yeah, but when those bees are 7 feet tall, I don't think that water is really that big of a deterrent anymore.
Probably not.
And also if they can throw spears at you, that's also...
It's a concern.
Yeah.
And Garland, and we're going to find Garlands. They have guns.
Yeah, right. They just don't want to get their armor wet. No combat in water. Players will be able to dive underwater and gather. All mounts that can fly will be able to dive, and only 4.0 zones will allow players to dive, but some older zones will allow players to swim, Costa del Sol being one of them. I don't know. What do you think about that? Like having old areas be swimmable. Does that open up possibilities for new areas that we couldn't get to in 2.0 or 3.0 zones that'd
be really cool.
Suddenly open up?
Ooh.
I don't know about entire zones. At least not
no,
right
no,
off
no,
the
no.
bat.
Just sections. Like, imagine if you could, swim some of Silvertier Lake. You know what I mean? Like,
I definitely feel like if they don't add at least little Easter eggy things in like that it would be a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I definitely. Just like, it doesn't have to be anything major. Just little things that you can find that you couldn't get to before. That'd be super cool.
I would love to go back to the wreckage of the Agrius, and if the entrance to that dungeon was maybe underwater, that would be kind of cool. Just, I don't know, some suggestions there. Let's go back to our phone lines. We've got someone on a landline hanging on. Hey, what's up, caller? How's it going?
Hey, Aniero, this is Tavis Macbeth from the Frankfurt server. How you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Hey, so first off, happy holidays. I wanted to let y'all know I just found out about y'all this year, and it's been a great year. Y'all get me through some tough days of work, and I appreciate it, and I hope y'all have another good 2017 coming up.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. We've had a great year this year, and we appreciate you finding the show and enjoying it.
Well, so my question to kind of get to the point is, first off, with the Red Mage reveal, I've seen a lot of people happy. I've seen a lot of people sad, upset, pissed. I kind of thought it was going to be like a positional DPS to try to capture the essence of like old school Red Mage in Final Fantasies.
Sure.
But do you think that, either way, when Square revealed this, I don't think everybody was going to be happy. So do you think that, one, that this went over well? Do you think that, it was just a turd in a punch bowl anyways, that no matter what they did, it wasn't going to appease everybody? And do you think they're done revealing stuff for Red Mage? I kind of get the feeling that if that removed tweet is true and there's only 2 jobs, maybe Red Mage is going to be one of those jobs that, depending on the crystal you have, is kind of like Summoner / Scholar, where you can switch it up for a certain role.
Now, that would be interesting. I love that idea and that suggestion. That if you were able to change that crystal medium to be able to focus it in a particular direction, that is such a cool concept. That would be awesome. Now, I think that there would be some balancing that needs to happen, much like there is some balancing if you're switching between Summoner and Scholar, where you've got to respec a little bit. But if you're willing to go through that, just so you can't do it on the fly, that's what I mean. Like, just so you can't, so you can't do it on.
The biggest problem with that theory is being able to switch on the fly and be
right. Right, exactly. I like this theory a lot. I think that that's a great working theory, that if you're going to have a sort of flex job like a Red Mage, and it could end up filling multiple roles, that's a brilliant way to execute that.
Yeah, I think there was one episode where I said how cool would it be is if they announced 3 jobs each for each role, and it was Red Mage every single time.
Yeah.
I don't foresee them allowing the Red Mage to change up that much. I feel like it's going to be a DPS. That's what it is. I would like to see some variance in if it could take on some ability to heal itself at the exchange of DPS. I would be all for that, though.
Yeah,
that would be super cool.
Yeah.
And that I could see them I could actually see them hey, if you're out there and you're maybe in a 4-man group instead of a big alliance run, and you just need to be able to heal yourself a little bit more, put this on. Now you do a little bit less damage, but you can have some healing on yourself. I think that'd be cool.
I think it would be cool, and I think that's a great out of the box way to think about it, and that's the kind of speculation that I'm really into.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen any pushback on how Red Mage has been presented so far? I feel like I've seen nothing but hype for it.
Well, there's always some people who are mad no matter what you get, but I think the overall reception I think has been very positive.
I think it's less boo Red Mage, and it's oh damn it, I wish that it had been Samurai. Or I wish that it had been, name whatever pet.
Right, so people aren't
job
necessarily
that people
upset
want.
with the way that Samurai is being presented, with the way that Red Mage is being presented, just that it wasn't what they wanted.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, but the way that it's being presented, we don't really know anything about it. It's gonna take those PowerPoint slides where Yoshi P really kind of breaks it down. But you know what? If it did have that kind of flexibility, though, that would be a way to only add technically 2 jobs, but have it be able to fill multiple roles. I mean, they came out right away, said that it's DPS. I'm inclined to think that it's going to stay DPS.
Yeah.
But if they were going to do it, that would be a way fascinating, interesting way to be able to execute that.
Can you imagine what the balancing issues would be like on that? It'd be a nightmare.
I mean, yeah, but
maybe that's why they haven't revealed Red
I don't know.
Mage's
It depends
stat.
on how you look at it, because if you just have to put in a different job crystal and it just changes all your abilities, it would just be like making a tank, DPS, and healer, and then just calling them all Red Mage, even though they're 3 distinctly different jobs.
And that's exactly it, because Red Mage is creating its own abilities and creating its own spells, not pulling spells from other jobs. So
I
you
don't think it would be as hard as we think it would be.
Yeah, you don't end up having to adjust potencies there. Like the thing about having, jobs that are all using moves that are pretty much independent from each other, except for the cross class abilities, is that to balance them, they like almost operate in a vacuum.
Maybe the Spider-Man T-shirt is a reference to Red Mage again as a different role.
Oh, for
go away.
Thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you're celebrating this holiday. We appreciate hearing from you. If you would like to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. I love hearing from people who are like, yeah, dude, I spent my first year with you, and I'm a huge fan, and you're super fun to listen to. That's always those are always fun calls to get. Let's go back to our phone lines and holler at...
calling now.
Oh, thank you.
She's being slow to pick up.
Okay. Well, you got wait to give me the person's name until they're connected. How about that?
Will do.
Yeah,
there we go. Juxta. Anyway, we'll go back to our phone lines and holler at Carletta. What's up, Carletta?
Hello. and
Hey.
Happy whatever the hell you celebrate.
That's right. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I had some alcohol last night.
Oh.
Is there ever a call we get from Carletta where she hasn't had alcohol?
or where she's not doing well? I always hear Carletta in a good mood. So, Carletta, what do you think about the Red Mage reveal?
I'm ecstatic because that was like the first job I ever played on 11.
Oh.
And so I'm definitely going to give it a try, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to you have to start it at 50, but there's so many other skills that you get before 50.
Sure. You mean just in playing jobs in general?
Well, you're going to get all these abilities once you get your job at 50.
Right.
Okay? Because you're starting at 50. But I want to go back to the other areas so I can get used to the stuff I just got.
There's definitely going to be a high skill ceiling for starting out at a job that's that high.
Well, yeah, you're gonna get the job unlocked, and then you have to go through your abilities and figure out what order do I use these in.
But if the job unlocks at 50, or if it unlocks and it unlocks at level 50, right? What are the prerequisites going to be? Like, are you going to have to get both White Mage and Black Mage to at least level 30 or something? Ooh. Like, what's the prerequisite?
I think it's just going to be level 50. And honestly, knowing what I know of reviewers, that alone is probably going to get people all ticked off.
I know. You know what? Saying that, I hear it, and I hear...
You're like, damn it.
I hear the truth in that, but, I mean, come on. I mean, they have an opportunity to even tie that to the lore a little bit. I mean, just come on.
Oh, I would love that.
And there's nothing to say that they can't still tie it to the lore, and if you didn't level White Mage and Black Mage, maybe you just miss out on references, but yeah.
Still though, a hard lockout is way better indication than anything else.
I can see the quest being a Black Mage arguing with a White Mage. My job's better. No, my job's better.
See, I think...
It's like the old Reese's commercial. You got your Black Mage and my White Mage. You got my White Mage and my Black Mage. Oh, two great tastes that taste great together. Red Mage.
Hey,
get that left Twix propaganda out of here.
I really like the idea of the first set of jobs. It's prerequisite Black Mage level 1, White Mage level 1, and then it's just level 5, level 10, and then it goes up, and you have to do each one of them.
Oh my god!
To be able to advance. I mean, that would make
prerequisite for Dark Knight.
Nothing.
Oh.
Heaven's Ward.
Heavens have access to Heaven's Ward.
Be able to get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a very low bar to clear. But, oh, man, I know they wouldn't do that, but they just so should.
You have to get White Mage and Black Mage to 50, and that's how they're going to space out people unlocking Red Mage, because most people don't have that prerequisite done.
I'm just saying, you guys better be glad that I'm not the one making this game, because you would fucking hate the game that I make. I'm just saying, like, everything that I'm inclined to like go like, yeah, that's a good idea. That fits thematically, and it's like clever and all of that. Square Enix is just like, nope. They take the big pink eraser to that idea and just go, no, we got to have that accessible right from the get-go.
Why do we keep paying this guy for his ideas?
They don't pay us. That's actually their secret.
But I just want to be sure I know my job, so I'm going to go back to the beginning areas and see, see what the level 5 ability, level 10 ability is before I jump in.
You've been playing the entire time. I don't imagine that's actually something that you would need to do.
Yes, it would be, because I have a rapier in my hand and a glowy stone in the other. That's a different tactic than being a black mage or a white mage.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can learn it all on the 50 to 60 grind.
That's exactly it. You know that there's going to be a rotation. You know what the rotation is going to end up being just by reading the tooltips and seeing what skills flow into one another. You know that they're not going to make a rotationless job. Every job has a rotation, even if it kind of doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, every job does. So, I think it's going to be pretty obvious what, especially for you, Carletta, coming in as a veteran player, of what the expectations of the job are going to be. And interesting that there seems to be like no healing aspect to Red Mage as well, which was a big aspect in the in previous iterations of Red Mage. Their healing ability for their flexibility was really one of the key aspects of having a Red Mage as a part of your party, but that seems to be stripped out.
Don't forget haste.
Well,
haste and refresh.
Yes, haste and refresh.
Yeah, we're not saying we want the 11 Red Mage back.
No.
No one would advocate for that.
No. I'm just saying that there just doesn't seem to be an element of healing. You might get like an AoE regen or something. Ooh. That might be nice. Actually, just tossing just an AoE regen that you can toss out every once in a while, that would actually be very helpful.
AoE regen or refresh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat earlier mentioned that, refresh was Moxie the Makote. Refresh could very easily just work like Goad does for TP.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I think that is probably a pretty safe prediction right there. So, I don't know. But the lack of healing, I think, is something that some old school 11 Red Mages might be bummed out about, or just fans of Red Mage from any of the games previous.
It'd be really interesting to see like what more we see about it at European Fan Fest.
Absolutely, yeah, because that's where we're going to get the outline of how the job functions and operates. Like, we can take a look. We can kind of sit around and look at all of the fancy graphics that we want. It's all pretty abstract until we get those those PowerPoint slides. Right. So, Carletta, what do you think about the Spider-Man T-shirt? Like, what do you think that's going to end up revealing?
Oh, I first thought his shirt is red and blue mage. No, that's how silly my thinking is.
No, but I mean, like, that's not even that unfair, because there's so little that connects it to.
That's no less flimsy than anything that's been said on this show today.
Totally, 100%. So, what do you think?
Let's see.
Blue Mage
I mean, if you want to roll with Blue Mage, that's fine, but...
Yeah, but also Peter Parker is always broke, has no money.
Poor Mage.
Poor Mage.
And then, Pronto
oh, yeah.
was a photographer, and so, everybody got used to taking pictures, and we can take other type of pictures in 14. I don't know. I'm rambling.
Pancration Mage.
There you go.
Yes.
I don't know. A new disciple of the land or hand would be unprecedented. I think would take a lot of people off guard.
I don't see that happening. I do not see that happening. Carletta, thank you so much for the call. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and hope everybody has a wonderful. I hope it'd be better than this year 17.
Yeah, we're all hoping. We'll see you. We'll see you in 2017, Carletta. Thanks for the call.
I will be right here.
All right. Thanks for the call, Carletta. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
You know what I love about this debate is we are seeing people in the chat right here go, it's so obvious that it's Samurai, and then the very next person, it's so obvious that it's Blue Mage. Like, everyone just has their idea of what it is, and they think it's clearly going to be that. Anyway, let's move on and talk about the new beast tribe that got revealed. We got our first look at the Ananta. Kallo, what did you think about them?
Well, they're the Lamia of our game, and my favorite quote. I'm actually going to quote.
But they're Lamia in a game that already has Lamia.
The keynote slide states that there is no associated class related to Red Mage. It will be a job, so it cannot dual class. Plus, later on, they want to drop the class system.
Yeah, well, that's the same as it was for the 3 jobs that entered Heaven's Ward. They have no,
right
job.
And we're not talking about the swapping out the job crystal.
Have to go visit some graves. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Genuinely.
Merry Christmas.
Not blue.
Oh,
that was Aaron Edge. Like,
that
at
was
first
Aaron
I was
Edge.
like, oh my god, that's real dark.
Oh, okay.
No, that's good. That's good. Buy some roses for me with the $5 that you just gave to us to say that.
But yeah, so we've got.
Didn't we get some insight when going through? Ah, crap! I always forget the name of it. Where we fight the Kira, that like museum place.
The Fractal Continuum.
That the monsters that we know right now that look like Lamia were made, basically experimented on and turned into what they are now.
Right.
And so the
Is that
Ananta
right?
Beast tribe are probably what they were originally.
Right. What my understanding of it is that the Ananta are what the Alligans experimented on to turn into Lamia.
Okay.
Much like they experimented on the Ixal.
Right.
The Ananta were the kind of the base tribe that eventually became the experimented Lamia.
Okay. All right.
I just want to really quick quote Mr. Juxta Christ though. Finally, a fuckable beast tribe.
Has he looked at the Ananta? Furry suspicion much, or I guess scaly suspicion?
That's weird.
Yes.
Yep, that's Juxta.
Thank you for that.
Does he like fucking cloacas or something? Like, is it something about the fish bits that is really appealing?
I don't know. There's definitely something fishy about the whole thing.
Make it stop.
Boo. Boo.
Here's the thing though that jumped out at me the most is that they made mention that they specifically are skilled with gemcraft.
Yes. I don't know what to make of that though, other than maybe they're going to is that how they're going to?
Materia, right? Obviously, materia.
Oh yeah.
Right? Materias are essentially our gems in our game, right? But what more can they really do? Because I feel like if you're going to come up with a whole new beast tribe, unless this is just, oh, guess what? This is where you get the tier 5 materia for this expansion. That's super lame.
The beast tribe quests in Stormblood is how you get the super specific materia. They're going to add new materia, and that's how you're going to get access to it.
Whoa.
But not just like tier 6 or whatever. I hope that we're finally going to get our possibly job specific material.
That's sort of where I was going too. Like if you've got to do an extended quest line to be able to do something like that, that's different from just, converting pieces of gear that have reached their spirit bond.
And that could be interesting because they talked about their primal is Lakshmi, who they said may not be the opponent that previous primals have been.
What is it about sitting in that chair where Privius just comes out of the mouth of whoever sits there?
Did I say Privius?
You did.
My god! Maybe it is the chair.
It came out as pretty close to Privius.
Oh my god! I'm becoming Juxta.
And the thing is that you didn't even notice.
No. Oh, that's terrifying.
Contagious.
We gotta go.
Do you want to move seats?
Kinda. No more calls. Sorry, guys.
I think that. What has Lakshmi's role been as a summon in the past?
Kind of like Siren, a healing summon.
Okay, so
never really a DPS summon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In Hinduism, major god of wealth, fortune, and prosperity.
You think that? We may find some common ground here.
Is this gonna be our first time where obviously Iceheart, but our first primal where we're like, I don't know that we need to fight you.
Right. Well, even Ramu was all right, fine, fine. Like Ramu didn't even really want to fight us.
No, it was more of a test of us.
Yeah, it was like it was a judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Lakshmi is just like, no, you guys seem pretty cool. I hope we have that scene where we all get there, like all the Scions are there, like ready to fight, and Lakshmi's like, sup?
No, but hang on. If we ended up being cool with a primal, that's a shift in thinking on our part too, because we're talking like every time you talk about primals, they're not just their very existence in this world is a threat to the world because it's drawing aether off of the mother crystal.
Right.
So
yeah.
If
even when they're not just a straight up danger, like for example, Ramu was just content with staying in his area, we still had to kill him.
Exactly. We couldn't let him perpetuate because he was drawing aether. That's why we that's why we were drawn into a conflict with him. So, I mean, even if she's not supposed to be the opponent that we've seen with primals in the past, like, yeah,
maybe because now we have that awareness that the Ascians are trying to get, bigger and bigger primal summon. Maybe we see this kind of low-level primal who's not taking a ton of aether, and we're just like, actually, that's better than what else could be, what other things could be.
Maybe we need one on our side.
Ooh, yeah.
And it should also be pointed out, too, that through Heaven's Ward, especially with the Nath, I felt like the narrative telling for the Beast Tribes have gotten better and better and better.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. You're definitely not wrong there. And I like the Nath Beast Tribe quest quite a bit, actually.
Automatic also points out that if we end up siding with a primal, that would put us squarely against the Garleans.
It really would.
Yeah.
It really would. But what would that do with our relationship to the Ascians? Because now we would be forwarding their machinations of having.
Not really, because they want us to keep defeating the primals and make them stronger.
Yeah, because the more times you defeat a primal, the Beast Tribes get more and more desperate. So every time they call them back, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. If we were to ally with a primal who's only been called, a few dozen times, if we don't kill them, that limits how strong they can get.
Huh. This is interesting.
They could take this a lot of different ways with Lakshmi.
There is. I like this concept. I like that they throw out this hint, this little piece of bait.
Yeah, it stirs the conversation.
Yes,
yeah,
it really does.
Ooh.
All right. Additionally, we've also had the Bend of Time Omega fight. That'll be the next high-end raid.
Ugh.
How do you guys?
Time again?
The Bend of Time.
Yeah. You think it's something else is gonna involve time travel?
I no, actually.
I hope not.
I can't go back to that
well. No, not right away.
Not twice in a row.
No, I don't.
What I do like, though, will not be required to continue the main scenario, but will directly connect to it.
Yes.
Similar to what Coil did.
Right. So, yeah, unlike Alexander, which was a completely isolated story, this is taking the Coil approach, saying, no, this directly ties into what's happening in the main scenario.
Which and it's sort of like a branch off of that, because basically what you had was the main scenario draw to a close, and then you had this big sort of like roar that happened in the distance, and it was like, what is that? And you had the option of saying, okay, let's go figure out what the fuck that shit was about, or you could go and do whatever else you wanted to do.
Exactly. I like this way of doing it much more, where it is directly tied into what's going on. If you want to do it.
Yeah, that does give, I think, a little bit more motivation, and it does sort of make it feel like you're not going through the entirety of the expansion, ignoring this section. And like if you ignore it, it feels like a thorn. And that, I think that's kind of the goal, is that you want it to, like, those people who are a little bit more OCD, or maybe, that's just kind of a negative term. Let's kind of spin that and go, people who are super enthusiastic about the game, they're going to feel the pull of that unfinished narrative thread a lot more so than the Alexander. Now, you're right. Alexander was completely excerpted out. But the thing is that if they make all of those stories gimmies as well, like, I'm that's still a little bit disappointing. It doesn't totally go back to the Binding Coil way of thinking, but it sort of like puts it kind of in the middle of the two.
And we know from our fan fest that Yoshi is considering a lot of different ways to try and up the requirements or the difficulty in it. But we don't. But they didn't talk about that at all this time around.
No,
so we don't have any new information on that.
All we got was basically the setting.
Yeah, it's Omega.
It's Omega, which means that we already know what Nero's doing, which is kind of a bummer.
He's hanging out with Omega.
Yeah, that he's going to be uncovering Omega. I think that's kind of disappointing. I kind of wish that they had held off. I wish that they had held off on announcing, since they didn't really even announce what, like, anything relevant about it, right? Like, if there had been more information, or if we had known something a little bit more important about it, I would have just been okay with them saying, like, look, there's another high-end raid. And
well, it's kind of like the Beast Tribe thing. Like, if they'd given us a little, like, that Lakshmi hint, if just something for us to talk about with it, give us something kind of neat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's not to say that that's not neat either, though.
No, it could be very cool.
I mean, you're right, though, Kallo. My red flag is up because of the bend of time. Like, that makes me go, oh no, come on, let's not go back to that well already. Like, that seems like a really bad name, but that could also be, like, that could be the Japanese name. That may not be the localized name for what that is.
Yeah, because, I mean, I think you're kind of right, too. We all expected or knew that Omega was going to be coming back at some point, and I mean, it does feel like a gimme being like, all right, so yeah, I guess our raid is Omega. But, I mean, really, how else, I guess, were they supposed to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we all knew that Omega was coming. Let's talk about what we did not see coming.
Man, I don't know. I fucking legitimately don't know how I feel about this.
And I'm so torn on how I feel about it. And in a million years, I never saw it coming. If you want to give them credit for blindsiding us, they sure did.
Yeah, you're right.
The new 24-man raid, Return to Ivalice.
All right, now hold on. There's pieces of this that I don't mind, and like you guys, pieces of it that just make me go WTF. Now, with the way that 3.45 ended, or 3.4 ended, this whole sort of discovery and confirmation of actual other, like, realms, the whole multiverse thing, I'm cool with, like, the other FF worlds being out there, especially Ivalice, because it's, one of the most prevalent one that's been reused and referenced as. I'm cool with that. But why is it a return to Ivalice?
Yeah, you're suggesting Ivalice may be one of the other 13 realms.
Yeah, so
I think that the implication, or that the 13 realms are the 13 different games that have come before. And that's at least somewhat of an implication that I've taken from it. And excuse me. And I mean, with the way that this game pays homage to the franchise and the way that the history that it has, that really wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, supposedly the direct return to Ivalice. I mean, the reason that it's called Return to Ivalice is because we're going back there, not in the context of FF14, but in the context of, in Final Fantasy, we're going back to Ivalice for the first time since we've been there since 12.
Character that's from there, and they're going back.
Oh, like we're accompanying someone back to Ivalice?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off, dude. If Van or Pinello end up in 14, I quit. I quit. I'm just done.
Please let it be a Tactics character, if anyone.
Done. Yeah, Tactics, I'm fine with. If it's Van or Pinello, I'm out.
Oh.
I'm out. I don't even want to see them.
What if it's Bosch?
Bosch is cool.
Yeah. Or is how we're going to finally get our Vieira in the game.
You know what? Dead ass, though. Dead ass, though.
Because we're Fran.
Dead ass, though.
It's going to be great.
Just saying. I would not complain at a Fran.
The masked boy is Vaughn.
Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up right now.
I can't even take credit for that. That was Blue Cloudy from the chat.
Don't even say it, because that could make it possible.
Don't give them any ideas, you dickhead. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, Return to Ivalice. It's going to be the structure for the 24-man raid. The Yasumi Matsuno working on it too.
Mm-hmm. He worked on 12 and Tactics.
Yeah.
Or Carson pointing out that this sets up a great crossover for when 12 Remastered comes out.
Yeah, except, I mean, where's the FF15 crossover right now? Like,
right?
Like, where's that?
I'm so surprised that didn't happen.
Yeah, that seems like a missed opportunity at the moment. But
they spent too much money on the movie. And
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that is a good appeal of an MMO, is to be able to, kind of haphazardly push your other products that are on the market. I'm
kind of intrigued by this. I think overall, I'm not thrilled because I didn't like Tactics that much, or 12. But
neither did I. Well, neither did I.
Yeah, so like
I was not.
I would much rather Vanadil, but that would be so ham-fisted I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah,
Get out
that's
of
true.
here, fanboy.
I really don't know how I feel about the whole idea of Return to Ivalice, especially for the 24-man raid.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because we had the Crystal Tower, which was a callback to 3, right? And then we had, this one actually, no, not at all. This one's purely FF14 lore, isn't it?
And they said very specifically that they wanted it to be something intrinsic to FF14 and almost maybe even iconic to FF14. Don't know. Not sure that it quite reached that status.
No.
But
Eskalia, it's also one thing to say, they used the Crystal Tower, but we didn't go to FF3's Crystal Tower.
Right.
Like the Crystal Tower exists in Final Fantasy XIV. The whole Ivalice thing, there's no Ivalice in FF14 or in Eorzea.
Or is there? Weird. Maybe Ivalice is just the next continent over.
I don't know, dude. The whole idea of traversing first of all, no, it's not just the next continent over, and if it is, that's stupid.
Do you think Ivalice is on the moon?
The juxta infection is wiping off. I found that funny. Oh, God help me.
He's really eyeing the Skype button right now.
He is. He's really mad. He looks real butthurt.
I don't know how to choke people through phone lines. Really wish you were here right now, buddy.
I'm safe.
This is why he doesn't come to the show anymore.
I'm safer at home.
Oh God, that just completely threw off my train of thought. Good job, way to go.
Sorry, you're talking about traveling dimensions.
Yeah, no. If dimension hopping is now a thing in FF14, I'm just not sure how I feel about that. And it does feel like my biggest problem with this is that it feels super fan servicey. It just feels. It feels so. And this is going to sound harsh, but fuck it. It sounds so creatively devoid.
Yeah,
that's really my biggest problem with it. Is that I want to go dude, development team, you guys are capable of more than this. Even if you wanted to bring on the talent there from the FF12 scenario team, you utilize them in a way that's not just having them reuse assets that they've already worked with before. That, I think, is the most disappointing thing about that. I'm willing to be open-minded about this. I'm willing to be open to it. I don't think it's going to be terribly good, though.
It doesn't thrill me, but I can't help but feel like maybe part of that is I just didn't really care about Ivalice. If they had picked a world I cared about more, then I'd probably be into it.
What world could they have picked for you?
Final Fantasy VIII?
No, what would you do on that world anymore? Nothing. There's nothing else to do there. You're right. It's pretty much there's just Vanadil.
It really, because you know what, and that's actually something that I hadn't really considered, is that Ivalice is one of the very few Final Fantasy worlds that feels like it operates beyond the player characters. You know what I mean?
Which is something we've spoken positively about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that may be the fact that it spans multiple games, Vagrant Story, the Tactics series, and 12. But it was very much a world that that was a setting. It wasn't
a world that you were in.
Right. When I think about you're right, FF9, you couldn't go back there.
What's left to do?
Yeah. Well, FF8, same thing. FF7, same fucking thing.
Even FF10.
Yeah,
exactly. What would you do in Spirit?
Well, don't say that. They're going back for another sequel for that for some reason. For some fucking reason.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, apparently the well's not dry there in Spira.
Could always go to Pulse.
But this also feels like what Lightning did a lot of in Lightning Returns, was just this like dimension hopping.
Oh, I didn't play Lightning Returns.
I didn't either. I just heard about it. I actually watched a review of it not that long ago because I had zero punctuation reviews running in the background.
Heck yeah.
And I was just like,
a good time.
Oh, I forgot. What did he think about this? Yeah, and I forgot that's a big part of it, is that Lightning is hopping into different dimensions that different games, Final Fantasy games. Because there's one, she dimension hops into 14.
Right.
It's the Makote bullshit. I don't know. I never spent time with that shit. But if it's like that, I don't know how interested I am. I am in that. Like, the fan service in FF14 has just gotten lazy. Like, they're not even like, we're gonna work, like in A Realm Reborn.
Okay.
I was not a huge fan of the Crystal Tower, the Labyrinth of the Ancients,
Right,
just
yeah.
appearing in the world out of nowhere, and you're like, how many times can they do this? But now they're like, yeah, we're not even going to try to do that anymore. We're just going to send you off to another world.
You're just going to Ivalice.
That's from a thematic standpoint, though, Aniero. But obviously, looking back at what we got in the Weeping City of Macaw, we kind of raved a lot about some of the design choices that they made in there. So what about at least from a design aspect?
I mean, look, they know how to make good, engaging 24-man raids. I'm not gonna argue with you on that. It's not the content that I'm worried about. It's just the level of fan service that I'm worried about. It seems lazy. That's all. That's all. Is that there could have been more effort put into putting something original out, and I think that's one of the reasons that we praised Makai was not just for its design, but for its ingenuity and storytelling. Remember, like, one of the big things was like when we realized where on the continent that was playing out.
Yeah, or what Ozma was.
Yeah, or seeing the ship in the distance that we would eventually be going to on the Void Ark. Like, those were all like huge context clues. They were big mysteries that people were like talking about for a while. We did almost entire shows on them, if not segments about them. So, I mean, like, there's all of that, but I mean, like, how much of that are we going to get with just going to Ivalice?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I guess what we need to sit here and kind of wait and see is how much are they going to make Ivalice into their game as opposed to us just going and experiencing another game? Like I say, like they take elements like things like Ozma. Those are borrowed from other games, but they make them part of the world of FF14.
Exactly.
How will they take Ivalice and make that part of FF14's world?
And to me, that was what was far more interesting about the whole Void Ark, Weeping City, and Macaque, everything of that, like, all of that was so much more interesting because of the way that they worked the references in and worked the content in, and the way that they placed it on the map, and you had a real sense of like place in each one of these places that we've gone to, and we'll see, if that holds with the third leg of the raid,
Dunescape.
Yeah, but I just don't know. I don't know how.
My only problem with this feels like what should be a one-off, like, seasonal event. Return to Ivalice, and no, it's my 24-man dungeon.
It depends on how they're doing it, because like we've said, Ivalice is very special when it comes to all the other FF worlds because it feels like it exists outside of the game, outside of the story. It still feels like there's so much of that world we haven't seen. So if they take us back to someplace that we've already seen and it's super fan servicey, yeah, that's gonna suck. But if they potentially take us to some part of Ivalice or show us characters that we haven't ever seen before, would that change your mind?
I'm fine with it. I don't mind that they're going to Ivalice. It just doesn't seem like the most interesting thing they could pick.
Do you really Kallo, are you really trying to say that if we go to Ivalice, we're not going to get all of the stupid fan service bullshit that comes along with it? We're not going to run into Van and Pinello and fucking Bosch.
You probably will.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is you've got to deal with all of the stupid bullshit that comes along with it. Now, if you went to Ivalice and you went to locations that you knew from 12 or like dungeons that you knew from 12, and none of the fucking characters, not one of the characters ever reared their head or spoke a dumb word of dialogue, that I think would be way more interesting. I would be interested in that.
Check this. Ivalice 50 years prior to Final Fantasy XII. And you kind of like go in, like, having played FF12, you kind of know where shit's going to end up. That'd be super cool.
Dude, make a real bold decision, because it's really the bold decisions that I like. But make a real bold decision and have all of the characters that you meet be characters from Vagrant Story. Don't even connect it to the FF12, the Ivalice that everyone knows. Make it a random, obscure, like the most obscure references that you possibly can. That, to me, is way more hilarious and engaging. And it kind of does what you're looking to do, but no, you know that it's going to be Van and Pinello and Bosch. Fuck off,
please no.
Balthier. Who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't care about any of those characters at all because their story was told. It was done. And I'm okay with going to the world, but I just don't. I don't want to catch up with.
Don't want the character.
No, I don't want one of them. I don't want one of them.
I really want this to be prior to FF12 that we show up there,
or long after,
yeah, sure, whatever. If I don't mind if I hear a reference to those characters, and that, like, hey, they saved the world at some point.
Totally,
like, oh, that's cool. But yeah, I don't want to meet them.
I couldn't tell you what the reference. I don't know what those characters did in the entirety of the game. Like, I don't know how you changed the world at the end of that storyline, right? Like every other Final Fantasy game, you know, it's pretty obvious, like how changed the world is by the end of that experience. But I couldn't tell you what that was in FF12.
I'm waiting for the remaster.
Yeah, it's kind of me too. I mean, really, the only thing I remember is that one girl's boyfriend gets shot in the neck by an arrow.
Sure does.
That's the worst place to leave an opening on the plate mail. Right?
Yeah, it does seem like you'd cover that spot. Yeah. It is kind of vital. Huh.
Anyway, so that does it.
That's it for the keynotes.
That's it for the keynotes. We also did get the patch 3.5 live letter, which we're going to go through here in just a second. We've got some video from that we'll end up putting up on screen. We're not going to make a ton of comments on it, but we'll definitely share it for you.
I read the live letter the next day, and I'm just like, it's really hard to go from keynotes to reading a live letter. Man, it's just not the same thing.
I know. But we got some direction on what we can see in 3.5, which I think that's pretty exciting. And we also got some pretty good previews of it as well. So the release date is officially January 17th. That's when we can expect patch 3.5. That's pretty close. I mean, that's pretty much right around the corner.
3 weeks away now?
Yep. And then part 2 is going to be coming in March 2017. So that's pretty exciting, if you ask me. So we've also now got the very first preview of our Zervan the Demon fight. What did you guys think of this? The Zervan so far, in what they didn't really show off much. Really, just sort of the arena.
Yeah, I like he's kind of that stationary in the center guy, and he knocks away parts of the platform. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of arenas that have a more interactive element to them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're always complaining about big square circle arenas.
That's what jumped out at me at first. Is I was like, oh, cool, another circle arena. Great.
But when they do something, like for example, take Sophia. I actually really love Sophia, even though it was just a giant square. It did stuff.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Zervan looked really interesting.
I'm just not excited for what is inevitably going to be ugly-ass weapons, because every single thing from the Triad so far has been so ugly.
Oh, I love my Sophic Pike. I think it was awesome.
Yeah, well, maybe if you had a giant shake weight on the end of it, you wouldn't think that.
Oh, what you mean to say is all the ninja weapons from the Warring Triad have been ugly.
Oh, come on. All the ones from Sephiroth were pretty bad.
Yeah, the Sephiroth weapons are bad.
So I mean, yeah, this does look like like your pretty typical battle, but yeah, you see big chunks of the arena falling as the conals are going out. And I don't know, man.
One thing that interested me is they mentioned there will be new mechanics introduced in this fight, and the way that's worded leads me to believe mechanics we have not seen in a fight before. I take that with a big grain of salt, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, when was the last time that you can remember seeing something that you would actually consider a new mechanic? I mean, so much ground has been treaded nowadays.
Yeah. It's true. And you did see him start to emerge there at the end. We've seen actually some bigger screenshots, some full screenshots of Zervan. And, I mean, we know that he's got that big-ass dragon tail that goes, seems like forever. I mean, it's a big character model that they've designed for this.
Yeah.
And I do feel like the platform is also appropriately large as well, and sort of does convey how massive he is. I don't know. I just don't know what my expectations are for this.
That's the same thing I ran into with Sophia. When we got our first previews of Sophia, I'm like, I don't even know what to expect with this.
Right.
And that's kind of been that way for all of them, except for Sephiroth, where we got the scene of him like growing humongous,
Yeah. But even that was just used to pretty great effect there. because whenever we have a primal that's grown like that, it's usually for their 2-hour animation, and that's it.
Yeah.
And with Sephiroth, he actually stuck around in that size, and you ended up having the jump rope mechanic, which kind of threw everyone through, and that was really cool. I thought that was a very cool way to present that fight, but I mean, it didn't end up doing all that. Even the Sophia fight, like it didn't. Like you've got the shake weight platform.
I'm excited. Sophia has been one of my favorite primal fights in the game so far.
Has it really?
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, part of that's the music. For
that was
Sophia.
The only one that I actually grinded for my weapon in.
Yeah, I did a ton of Sophia because I really enjoyed that fight. And I mean that kind of gets me excited by itself for Zervan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as it's cool, people will do it. But the idea of new mechanics.
Grain of salt.
Yeah.
Big grain of salt.
Yeah. All right. We also got a bit of a preview of Dune Skaith. And we see it here. Yoshi's going to walk us through. It looks like it's first taking part on Airship.
Yep. First section, no railings. Nice big airship platform.
Yeah. And what's interesting is how many of the things outside of the airship flying along with you are
and stuff like that.
Yeah, are animated and present. Like that's just really kind of an interesting touch there.
The area looks nicely designed.
Yeah.
For being
No, see, now this is the same problem that I have with the idea of the big circle and square platforms. You could have put some cogs, coming up out of the ground or something. It's just all smooth and wide and open. There is so much more that you could have done with this.
Look at airships in this game. They usually are very smooth.
I don't know, man. This to me, there's definitely some technical limitations that I'm not even sure how they're doing some of this. Some of these floating islands that are appearing in the distance, they look like they're not just a randomly inserted piece of ground. That was one of the things that I found pretty remarkable about the Bismarck fight, is that even felt like you had a sense of flying through a field of debris and floating islands. And I think that this similarly gives you a very nice sense of space and place. And I have to commend it for that.
That's not wrong, or I wouldn't disagree with that.
And again, this might all be just what do you call it? I lost the terminology that I was looking for. Might just be pre-established and rendered on the system side and all of that.
Are you calling them bullshots?
No, they're not bullshots at all. But I mean, just because I can't explain technically how it's going on,
right?
It
did look really cool. I was really impressed, and like you say, the kind of feeling that you are flying through space, not just. Remember in 11 when you were on the airship and you felt like you were on a track that you were just kind of walking along?
Yeah, but at the same time, you could actually see the ground and have a sense of where you were, and I thought that was always cool. But this fight particularly right here also kind of reminds me of the Final Fantasy X fight where you're fighting the thing off the side of the ship. Yeah. How many people struggled with that fight?
As a kid, that was the first time in a Final Fantasy game where I stopped for a while.
I got stonewalled.
I couldn't beat that part. I actually remember yelling at my TV at the guy who runs the shop inside your ship. I'm like, "There's a giant dragon outside. Give me free shit to beat it."
Yeah.
I'll just look forward to Dunscape hard mode when we have to fight it in an undead form.
Phoenix Down.
Very reminiscent of that fight. So I think we're. Looks like Yoshi is fumbling around to try to figure out where the next part.
They glitched the fight or something.
Yeah. But so far I think that I jump off the side there. I like that. So far, I mean, the design is pretty meh.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, and in terms
it's nice and spacious, but I just think they could have done more to make the deck more interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. There's not much. It's just a deck, pretty much. But Dunscaith, I mean, Again, I don't know what the expectation is for this. Void Ark was really good. Weeping City and Makai was really good. But I think like Weeping City was so much better because you had a sense of where that was happening.
Yeah,
depending on where they take
something.
Yeah, like I'm kind of curious where the ship is taking us.
Well,
like
because you see it in the second half of the video. You see them enter the city that they go to.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it looks creepy. But like it's not ruined like the other cities that we've visited in these kinds of areas. It looks like it's in pretty good shape still.
Really?
Yeah. It's very interesting looking.
That's very interesting. All right, we've got the second part of the video that's playing right now. And you're right. Like this does look like it's maintained somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
the
looks
dock
like there could still be people there.
Yeah, that dock is pretty maintained. It's not all crumbly and fucked up. Yeah, where would this is interesting now?
Yeah,
because this is actually my first time going through this. So
yeah, I actually wanted to get your opinion on this city because I thought you would dig this.
I do dig this.
Yeah,
this is very neat. Now, I think we did get a very small preview of this in some of the early artwork. It never provided a sense of like, oh, this is definitely where we are.
Right.
And it looks like just from that jump right there, I mean, is this like a bubbled city? Like, did they make some kind of magic to try to seal off?
Maybe the calamity was happening and they were trying to protect themselves?
That's possible.
Yeah,
that's possible.
I'm not sure.
There is ruins. Like, yeah, it is in good shape.
Like in comparison to like Makai, where everything except until you get to the pyramid is in shambles.
Right.
I was gonna say, based on the architecture, what would you guys say this place was? Like, can we even tell?
It doesn't look like it's Mericidian.
No, it's definitely not. I mean, it's fourth. It's whatever it is. It's fourth era. Like it
okay, because the idea of
what was the the War of the Magi? Because yeah, that seems to be accurate. Wow, this is really kind of impressive. This is
the idea that there could be like a Mericidian city out there that was protected from Ozma. That'd have been cool.
It's Ozma wasn't used on Mericidia. Bahamut was used on Mericidia.
Oh, sorry. But the ones that Ozma was used on, like if there was like some bubbled place out there that was like left preserved, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, this does sort of seem like a city in a bubble, like whatever that protective shielding that you pass through. I wonder if maybe that's why you needed the stone from the Weeping City of Makai was to be able to pass through that bubble. Interesting. I'm quite fascinated by that. I'd like to see more. Is there more? Does
no,
this go back? Oh
there's
man.
Not.
Oh man.
I'm very much ready for some lore on this city. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Dunescape looks really cool.
That I'm definitely excited for. But again, like, I hate to. I mean, look, I'm not trying to be a pessimist or a downer here, but like, I always look forward to these raids, but they're like a quick flash in the pan. They're like one and done.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they never quite stick around long enough, I think, is my biggest complaint. And that they don't challenge. I don't know, man. Like, I'm definitely excited for this, but
you almost want them to like do it like they do with dungeons and have a hard mode version where you go back and revisit them in another fashion.
Yeah. I like the story from this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm pretty fascinated by what's going on in there. And then we've got this last.
I'm gonna sleep through this part.
This last trailer here. Now what is this exactly? What is Garo? Do you know?
It's not in America.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It's based on a Japanese television series.
Yeah. It's not
Golden Knight Garo. It's called.
It's not It's not like what they normally do crossovers. Like I'm used to like cutesy anime crossovers. This looks more like Samurais meets. I don't even know what to call it.
It says the plot of this show is that it focuses on the life of Kuga Saizima, who has assumed the title of Makai Knight to protect humanity against dark demonic manifestation called horrors. So, it's definitely... This is something... I could get into this a lot more than I could yokai.
Oh, God. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a collaboration, this looked a little cooler.
Yeah, that's what I'll give you, is that it's definitely got a much I think it's got way more of an appeal than anything like Yokai Watch
and
did.
no fate grinding.
And I mean, the thing is, though, is I'm not sure that I would ever, like, since I don't have an attachment to this, like, there might be one or two pieces that I would go for glamour.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not really sure what the huge appeal. Although that fucking metal horse is
there's some cool mounts in there.
That's pretty
You
badass.
can get them through PvP and Gold Saucer.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, no fates this time.
Good.
Amen.
I'm all for that. More crossovers like this, Square Enix.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a crossover, this is much better.
Yeah, and let's I do like that they're putting an emphasis on gear as a reward. Now, here's the thing, though. Okay, with this comes a little bit of criticism. How come they can do this for a crossover event with an anime that I've never heard of, but they can't seem to figure out putting in exclusive gear rewards to something like a full system that they end up putting in the game like Palace of the Dead?
If this was the rewards that came from Palace of the Dead,
yeah,
holy crap.
Even if it was like a weird crossover thing like this is, like, dude, there are people that would grind for that. I would grind for that. Some of that gear looks bad fucking ass.
Yeah,
and even though I have no connection to that anime, like, I would definitely be going after some of that.
As gold masks, it looks cool.
It just broke my heart to think there are more people who put more time and effort into Yokai Watch than they did Deep Dungeon.
That's what I'm saying, though. You got exclusive gear from Yokai Watch that you didn't get from Palace of the Dead. Well, how is that justifiable? Like, why am I the asshole for going like, yeah, Palace of the Dead didn't have a whole lot, but then you've got Yokai Watch fucking off over here with their stupid cutesy bullshit. I mean, like, all of that takes development time. So why is it a better use of time to do the Yokai Watch crossover than it is to do...
I'm going to play the devil's advocate for you.
Okay, sure.
All right, so the reason they're not going to put it into Palace of the Dead is because they want everyone to have a chance to get it.
You don't have a chance to get it with Palace of the Dead?
So here's my suggestion. Don't develop the fucking Yokai Watch gear because it's stupid, kitschy, and dumb, and like not going to have that much of a crossover appeal with your audience, and instead make exclusive gear that's not Yokai Watch themed that comes out of something like Palace of the Dead. This doesn't make sense.
Argument for it. This is a holiday event, so when it ends, suddenly nobody can get it now. Why not put it into your Palace of the Dead or your raids or whatnot?
Oh, you know they're going to put that into the cash shop.
That's
Don't
the problem,
even fucking lie. No, it's going to be in the cash shop.
Oh, man, what a cool use of Palace of the Dead if they would start putting gear like that in there.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've been saying, is that, like, that's what the loot system of Palace of the Dead was lacking. That's sort of what the loot system of even Diadem was lacking.
And speaking of Diadem.
I knew
you
saw where I was going.
I saw where that was going. Very well done. Here we go. The exploratory mission revamp. The whole system's getting overhauled. How do you feel?
I don't know.
Oh. All right.
This is not exactly what I wanted. This is not
Really?
exactly what I had thought they were talking about, but I mean, some of it seems pretty cool. So you've got the complete revamp. Upon the implementation of patch 3.5, the current exploratory mission content will be closed.
Yes.
That's kind of a bummer. A little bit of a bummer. I mean, it just...
What, the three people still doing it can't?
No, the fact that they completely abandoned the concept instead of trying to figure out how to make it work. Like, that, to me, is a little bit more troubling than we've added some features to Diadem to try to make it more sustainable. That's what they could have done. That's what they could have really, in theory, been doing the whole time, but they just chose not to. That's what kind of bothers me, is that their willingness to give up on it is what concerns me. The revamped exploratory mission content will be released in The Far Edge of Fate. That's patch 3.5, part 2.
Yes.
Part 2. Just so you guys know. The material and other items that can be obtained in the current exploratory mission content will be available. Entry to revamp exploratory missions will be separated into two categories, hunting and gathering. So spoils or equipment can be obtained by having a NPC unlock a lockbox.
Interesting.
Equipment stats will be randomly generated when receiving the rewards. Item rewards for completing explorations will be automatically placed into your inventory, and there will be instances where treasure caskets appear upon defeating monsters.
This last bit I thought is what would interest you.
So there are also some anomalous elements of this system as well, which is a weird way to sort of word how these mechanics function.
Right.
But there are multiple battle events that will occur spontaneously. A special raid will occur in a specific area once a certain limit has been reached, and everyone will have to find a way to fight against a large boss. Now, this means, what do you guys think this means? Like, there's certain conditions that you have to fill to be able to pop a boss in the first place?
That's what it sounds like.
That's
or a special
what it sounds
raid.
like, yeah.
That almost sounds like Aquapolis or something like that.
Aquapolis?
The whole everybody coming together, that reminds me of, like, Besieged.
Yeah, kinda. And then, like a large boss, maybe you have to like attack different parts of it, because they kind of like stress you have to find a way to fight against a large boss.
I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, in the one hand, one reading of that, a special raid will occur in a specific area once a certain time limit has been reached. That almost sounds like a penalty.
It says certain limit. It doesn't specify time.
Right. Oh,
a certain limit has been reached.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what that could possibly mean. Like
defeating a certain number of monsters, types of monsters.
Maybe it's something like a counter that's going up across all exploratory missions that are happening, and then whoever trips the one gets to do it.
That's not unlike the way that old Diadem was working, and no one really liked that. I mean, that's not that far away from lights and like having like party lights and stuff like that from Abyssia. I'm not sure that they would end up adding something like that.
The only thing that I heard out of here that sounded like Abyssia was the treasure caskets after mobs drop or after mobs die.
No. I'm talking about the old Diadem. The way that you would have your pop variable build up over time with more kills and stuff like that. That was sort of similar to.
What I'm kind of thinking is like it's like got a counter going across everyone who's doing exploratory missions, and then when we get to 1,000 completed, whichever person hits that 1,000th one, a special raid spawns for their group.
Man,
yeah, not just for their group, but in their instance.
Yeah. That's kind of like a page out of Diablo 2's playbook from back in the day.
You're not wrong. That's also not that different from like a sandworm type type thing, which I always thought was really cool.
Sandworm was amazing.
I always thought the way that they did the sandworm where it would just warp you into a whole nother zone.
Yeah.
That was fucking brilliant.
Oh yeah. Sandworm was awesome.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like the exploratory missions seem pretty straightforward. It looks like you're going to be set out with a set of expectations to fill, and you get rewards for doing them. I don't know, man. I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I feel like with this one, they gave us a lot of information while giving us no information.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like. As I was reading through the slides, I'm like, there's nothing really in. It's a lot of words that don't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. Everyone will have to find a way to fight against a large boss.
I don't know what does that mean? Like I'm picturing like a humongous boss that has different parts of it you have to fight. Maybe.
Yeah, actually,
one
no.
group has
You know
to go
what?
fight the
That
tail,
is
one-
kind of interesting. Instead of just having like these pop tiers, right? Where you're like, all right, you find a bunch of 3-star monsters, eventually you get a 4-star, maybe you'll get a 5-star. This idea that maybe there's like 5 or 6 special bosses, but it's not just one thing that pops, right? It's something like, I don't know, maybe you get this like Cthulhu type thing where you have like a main eye somewhere, but you can't damage that unless all of the tentacles on different random islands are taken down first, and you have a time limit to find them and defeat them.
Interesting. I mean, there's also like fulfilling different conditions to pop different specific notorious monsters, but then I think that the loot pool would have to be a lot more static than what it is, like what they've outlined for how spoils would be determined.
Yeah.
I mean, if it had a different, I don't know. I think the reward system is really going to be key on this one. Like, how are they going to reward participation in this? I think that's going to be super, super, super critical for the success or failure of this. I mean, to be fair, that is long term the success or failure of any system in an MMO.
The reward system,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it does sort of seem like when you lay everything out, once you have 3.5 out, right? And you lay out the content that we're going to have to take us through in between 3.55 and 4.0, right? That you've got content that serves sort of specific functions. You've got your dungeon content, which that all sort of serves to give you your anima weapon, right? And give you lore and tome gear. You've got I guess you could consider them your side quest pieces, where you go to Palace of the Dead to get your weapon, and you go to Diadem to potentially get your gear. And then you've got raiding, where you go to get weapons and gear and receive the hardest challenge. When you lay out all the content sort of like that actually seems like a fairly good spread of MMO content.
Well balanced, actually. And now they're saying that these,
but it doesn't feel like that. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, why doesn't it?
Yeah, why didn't that ever feel like that as we were going through it?
Yeah. Well, they're also now saying that Zervan's Savage mode is going to be on par in difficulty with A12S.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and I mean, that when you think about it, that makes sense. They're going to have so much time between now and Stormblood to get geared up that by the end of it, it'll probably feel normal.
Yeah, you want something that
it should be harder.
You know, I think that's one of the things that Square Enix didn't really take into account with the Alexander raids was that, look, like when you restart... when you restart an expansion, I know that all of us were saying at the time, like, the difficulty shouldn't go down. Like, it should increase in difficulty. But I don't think that you can sustain that increase. Like, that's not. I don't think that was a reasonable expectation on our part necessarily, and that it probably would have been better for them to say, okay, since this is a new cycle, we're going to start training you guys on new
make
new
the first
techniques.
run a little bit easier, and then make it harder as it goes. Yeah,
you're
right.
and then really make the end of it very difficult and sustainable for that gap that you're going to have to close in between 3.55 and 4.0. I mean, shit, like that's the thing about this show. Fuck, we talk a lot of shit, but we're wrong a lot. I mean,
yeah.
That's the fun part of the show, is that discussion is inherently discussion. Like, no one is right or wrong in this kind of stuff.
You can't be afraid to be wrong.
Right, yeah, that too. But the discussion is where you get the really interesting parts. Like that caller who had suggested the possibly more versatile application of Red Mage, in being a flexible class in ways that we hadn't considered before. Those discussions, I think, are way more interesting than just a bland recitation of this is exactly what we know.
And that conversation, like, on its whole, is it likely that Red Mage will be anything like that? No. But is it a fun conversation to have?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, that the speculation is really where I find the most fun.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just like Square Enix has to be prepared to be wrong sometimes, and we've got to be prepared to be wrong sometimes. We make suggestions, we throw suggestions out very cavalierly for two reasons. A, because they don't mean anything. Our suggestions don't carry any weight. They barely carry any weight with the community, and they sure as fuck don't carry any weight with Square Enix.
Yeah.
So, all of you people who are like, oh my god, your suggestions are so terrible, you're going to end up ruining this game. It's okay. Nobody listens to them anyway.
Yeah, no one at SE is like, well, LVR suggested this.
Right, but it's fun. It's fun to have those discussions. It's fun to get all worked up and riled up about it. And I love the energy of the chat room when they were just they started right away going speculating, and absolutely, there's a lot to go nuts about, and I truly do appreciate that about this game and this community, and about this time of year. Like when we get together around things like FanFests, whether we actually get to be there in person, like we were able to out in Vegas, or whether it's covering it vicariously out at with it being out in Japan or in Germany this year. This is a really exciting time because it gets it really gets like the gears moving. Like it gets a lot of people really speculating and hyping, and I think that's where the fun. That's like half of the fun of an MMO, whereas the other half is actually playing it, and with the developers delivering a really good and fun game experience at the end of the day. So we appreciate all your calls today, guys. It's been fun hearing from you and listening to your speculation. Keep speculating, and we're going to want to hear those next week when we come back for episode number 94 of Limit Break Radio. There's going to
could have been 94.
First episode of 2017, right?
Will it be?
I think so, right?
Yeah, that's the first.
The first.
We're going to be
New Year's Day.
We're going to be very hungover.
Yes, we are. But aren't we always?
Did we already commit to this? I think we already did.
No.
So we can still pull out of this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Technically, Patreon was our commitment to go weekly.
Oh.
You're right.
The only day we missed this year was Mother's Day.
Yeah, and that's totally justifiable.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, moms are heroes.
Moms are heroes.
Moms
especially
are tough.
Justin's mom.
Damn it. Fucked it up.
Yeah, moms are tough.
Justin's going to be so upset with me.
He is. He's going to be really disappointed with you. How does that make you feel?
It's all right because I nailed that FF10 role-playing thing earlier.
That's true. Anyway, so yeah, we'll be here on New Year's Day. We'll be sharing your collective suffering and hangovers. So come hang out with us. We'll be here at 1 p.m. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. And yeah, we're definitely going to want to hear from you. We want to hear all about your predictions, what you think the Spider-Man t-shirt could mean, what you possibly think Red Mage could end up looking like, and how you feel about Stormblood moving forward, because this is a huge dump of information about Stormblood. People are making their decisions every time one of these big dumps of information ends up coming out, and I'm curious what the sentiment is, and we'd love to hear from you. Of course, you can do that. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord is the way that you can do that. You can add those while we're off the air so that while you join us live, you'll be already added to the Skype list and on the Discord server. You won't have to worry about how to connect. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today and wish you a very Merry Christmas. It's been fun. It's always fun hanging out with you guys on Sunday. There was a lot of moaning and groaning about getting people here to do this show today, and I'm really glad. Eskalia and Kallo, I'm really glad that you were able to make time with your families and everything. And
Merry Christmas, LBR. Please don't do a Scoro.
Oh, Raggins.
Raggins.
Raggins, you beautiful bastard.
I can't see it. How much was it?
$100.
Oh, Raggins, thank you so much.
We're going to spend all 100 of those dollars on alcohol. That's what we're going to do.
Correct.
You said don't pull a Scuro, but I think that's exactly what we're going to do.
In the interest of transparency with where your money goes.
Just being honest.
It's going to booze this time.
Just letting you know. But thank you for the generosity, Raggins. We appreciate it.
Also, speaking of the Christmas spirit, too, I was going to mention earlier in the show, but since we're at the end here, after this show is done here, guys, make sure you stick around because I'm going to be doing a special Christmas stream for you guys with The Last Guardian.
Santa Kallo.
Oh, how nice.
Is going to be hanging out and playing The Last Guardian. So if you want to check out, what is it, Team Eco or Project Eco's latest release that has taken almost 10 years in and of itself, you can check that out. That's coming up next here with Kallo live on the Twitch stream. We've been trying. So before we let you go, I just want to kind of talk about what's been going on here at Limit Break Radio because the stream has been pretty quiet in the last couple of weeks. We keep talking about the things that we've been working on. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the Patreon. The Patreon is doing awesome, guys. I really want to thank you for all of your generosity. We're currently sitting at $2,100 incoming every month. That is a really, really great baseline to be able to sustain what we do. You guys are making that happen, and thank you so much. The second thing is we want to let everyone know who has placed a $20 monthly donation to Patreon that the first round of postcards have gone out.
Yep.
You should actually be seeing them any day now. I placed that order on the 20th, and it told me to expect around 5 days for delivery. I figure that's probably business days, and to keep in mind it is the holidays as well.
So probably within this coming week sometime.
Yeah.
So let us know via like Twitter and Facebook and stuff when you start to see them, just so that we know that have an idea of when people should be looking for them.
That's right. And with only 7 days left in December, you guys will be seeing the December postcard here very shortly. So if you wanted to get a preview of the first postcard that you missed out for November, you could check that out over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/limitbreakradio. Like it while you're there. And you can see the awesome artwork of Eskalia that those who gave $20 in the month of November to our Patreon account will be receiving in the mail. Now, those are exclusive. You can only get those by signing up at a $20 a month level over at patreon.com/limitbreakradio. And if you stay signed up at that level, you will continue receiving those exclusive postcards for as long as you're signed up. We're making this a long-term program.
I'm actually really upset. Like this was bad foresight and playing on my part, but you realize that Eskalia's is going to be the rarest one.
Woo! That's appropriate.
I love it.
That's appropriate.
My card is going to be the Black Lotus of our card game.
It's not a card game.
It's going to be.
It might turn into one. Anyway, no, but if that sounds like something that you want to get in on, patreon.com/limitbreakradio is where that happens. We've also got the very first demo recording of our brand new show that is due out in February. We can't talk about it until after the first of the year. Or no, I'm sorry, after the 4th, after January 4th, that's when the first media packet goes out. That's when the first press release goes out. So not the next episode, but the episode following, we're actually going to be able to tell you a lot more about our new project, and we'll be actually sharing more session recordings. We've got 3 more session recordings. The first one that I posted was only half of the first session recording. Oh. So we'll get the full 2-hour session recording and the 2 other 2-hour session recordings that we've done so far posted, and that will happen before we talk about it on this show. So in the next 2 weeks, that's going to happen over at patreon.com/limitbreakradio. $1 a month is all it takes to get access to that. So if that sounds like something interesting that you want to take a listen to, and also if you are a Patreon right now, I do want to invite you to go over and listen to it, and please encourage you to provide us feedback. This is the first time that we've ever tried something like this. In fact, this is the first time that anyone has ever tried something like this. So your feedback is going to be hugely, hugely important to us moving forward, and we want you to be our test audience. So if you want to become part of our test audience, patreon.com/limitbreakradio is where that happens. But thank you guys so much for your support, whether it be through Patreon or PayPal. You guys make this show possible, and so it makes it an easy decision to piss off the entirety of our families to be here and hang out with you on Christmas to talk about all of these exciting announcements. Honestly, I think we probably would have taken this weekend off had it not been for the Japanese Fan Fest. And it's a bit serendipitous that it ended up working out that way. And I'm glad that it did, and I'm glad that you guys made time to join us. This has been a lot of fun to hang out with you guys week after week, and to share this holiday with you guys is really special. So thank you to all of you that decided to tune in, and to say fuck you to your families to tune in. But no, honestly, thank you to everyone who's told their family to screw off right now. So that's just awesome. I really appreciate it, guys. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad that we've been able to talk about this. We'll be back next week at 1 p.m. here at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. That's going to be it. I want to thank our non-existent our bass crew. Like, we had no
skeleton crew right
We
here.
had no interns this week. No interns, no producers, no nothing.
You want to talk about the bare minimum to run a show.
I'm telling telling you, man, the dedication of Limit Break Radio is measured in episodes like this. Like, this may not be the most entertaining episode. This may not be everyone's favorite episode. It doesn't have fanfic readings. It doesn't have the racist roulette. It doesn't have all of the fun shit that we normally do on Limit Break Radio. But I think that the real, the real nuts and bolts of this show is made in episodes like this, because you see the level of dedication that we're willing to put forth as a crew to make sure it gets done. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever doubt it. And if you like what you hear, patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Again, I want to thank my crew who took the holiday off, which good for them. We allowed them to, and we're happy that they're able to spend time with their family. Of course, that's Skuro, Papa, and Kooky. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do for this show. I want to thank the 2 members of the crew that were down. They're normally very, very good about their attendance, but happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Shout-outs go out to Nika Kayanian as well as Juxtaposition, and for those that showed up, of course, Eskalia Rayumasa being here in studio, Kallo Landis joining us over Skype. My name's Aniero. Merry Christmas. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Eskalia Rayumasa. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square-Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Captain Failboat, Zurian Urexin, Azura Giacho, Bianca Forwin, Kalina Ashsaber, Thor Carson, My Waifu, Satori Komeji, Darbykins, Sakura-chan, Dark Flux, Null Packet, Shira Heartslide, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.